Welcome to You and I. I'm Jackie Kai Ellis, and it's my genuine hope that through sharing our most vulnerable stories we know, in the moments where it matters so much, that we're actually not alone. It needs to be said, I'm not a professional, just someone with some personal experience to share. I do hope this is helpful, but as always, take the advice that resonates and ignore what doesn't. And don't hesitate to seek out professional help through a trusted source. We have resources on our website. For today's mini episode, we have 2 questions that you, our listeners, sent in. They're similar, so I've decided to explore them together. They write, "Can I ask a personal question? How old are you? I'm 40 and trying to get pregnant and having trouble. And at the end of the day, wondering if I'm too old to have the energy to be a mom. You look very happy with your choice to be a mom." Another listener wrote, "I'd love it if you could talk about what it's like becoming a mom later in life, if that's not too personal to share. I'm in my late 30s and am looking into my options of becoming a mom soon. Because all of our askers are anonymous, I've decided to name you both Truest Child. Dear Truest Child, as of today, I'm 44. A week ago, I pulled my back so badly that I had to crawl back into bed, where then I stayed for days. These things happen, but what made me feel older is that all I did to put out my back was cough once. What is it like to be an older mom? Well, for the most part, I think I'm so busy trying to figure out how to be a mom, period, that I don't notice that I'm an older one. And I've also never been a younger mom, so I don't have much to compare to. Though I do think about the fact that I'll be 61 and my husband Joe will be 63 when Kai turns 18. I wonder what retirement will look like, or if I'll even be able to afford retirement. I worry about what happens to Kai if I don't make it to 61. I spent a good amount of time organizing my life insurance, critical illness insurance, education funds, and wills. I think about teaching Kai how to cook and clean from a young age, to have basic life skills, to be somewhat self-reliant if anything should happen to me. I know this might be all a little bit over the top. I mean, a lot of people have kids later in life, and I guess everyone with a child should be thinking about this to some degree. But the reality is that the chances of illness increase with age, and because I am older, I do worry. Though, if I were a younger mom, I'd probably be worried too, just about different things. I'd always heard that at the moment you become a mom, you worry about your child for the rest of your life. And I can see how this is true for many, for me, and for my mom, who still reminds me to put on a coat. I'm 44. My mom does say that because I'm older, I raise Kai like he's my grandchild. To me, that seems like a bit of a stretch because I know just how much TV she lets him watch, but I get what she's trying to say because technically, I could be his grandmother. And that's not lost on me either. Because I'm an older mom, I do feel this great sense of awe and fortune that I was able to have a child at my age. I've known many women who have struggled to conceive, and perhaps I'm more appreciative that I could experience this gift of motherhood at all. Even before I became pregnant, when I was trying to decide if I wanted kids, I remember putting a lot of consideration into my age. There are so many unknowns with parenthood, how it can change your life. But age adds another layer of unknowns as well. And I have a feeling both of you have written in because you may be considering some of these same unknowns. I wondered how it would affect me physically. I wondered how my body would handle pregnancy, if I would be able to carry a child with little harm to us both. I wondered if my body was strong enough to endure the damage of birthing, and if my baby would be healthy. I too wondered if I had the energy to be a mom, if I could handle bending over for hours, holding his hands while he learned to walk, or if my back would go out while coughing. In my experience, and I can only share my own, I was simply amazed at how strong my body was. I was amazed that without any conscious thought or effort, my body knew exactly how to create life. I basically ate burgers and mangoes for 9 months, and my body made a human being with eyelashes and a nervous system. I learned that my body is wise, wiser than my mind. that it's trustworthy. And after he was born, the constant feedings, the sleepless nights and days, the learning curve, the diaper changes, and Googling how much milk are newborns supposed to drink, well, I found that, though I was tired, the energy to get through it just came because something happens when a helpless little human depends on you, when hormones seem to be precisely dosed for survival, and when you don't really have a choice anyway. And one day you look up in baby music class or whatever it is, and you realize that all the 20-something-year-old parents beside you also look vacant and dead from exhaustion. I put one foot in front of the other, and then when he began to laugh and play, I just wanted to laugh and play with him, to crawl on the floor playing peekaboo with him, to roar like a lion and learn the ukulele so I could sing his favorite songs for him. As embarrassing as it is, it's true, I actually did this. Kai unearthed a youthfulness, a silliness in me, a side I hadn't seen in myself since I was a child. It was a side that I didn't even know was still there. I wondered if it would be harder, older. I assume that learning to be a parent is challenging at every age. It's just that the challenges are different. I found that motherhood has just been a slow learning of how to let go, and what we need to let go of can be unique to each person. For me, life is slowly forcing me to loosen my clenched hands, release control of the things I fear losing. It's upending my expectations and teaching me to move with the present moment. And as Kai, my little heart, as he grows and needs more independence, my challenge will be to slowly create that space for him to flourish by letting him go little by little. Though I think my age does make some things easier and some things harder. Funny enough, I think what makes it harder is also the very thing that makes it easier. For example, it seemed harder to grapple with the change in how independent I felt, having lived a life that felt so free and unattached for so long. But because I've had the decades to accomplish so many things in my career, satisfied curiosities, traveled, checked off so many items on my bucket list, I'm also grateful that I can enjoy this part of my life without feeling that added pressure of having to carve my path and discover my place in this world at the same time, which was a preoccupation that I had in my 20s. Being older, having lived beside many generations of friends that have raised children, I feel like I've seen and heard so much about motherhood. I've seen so many terrifying situations, sudden illnesses, and freak accidents that it can be kind of hard to remember them all without anxiety. But on the same token, I've also seen so much trauma and hardship that it puts the little things in perspective. And I just don't care if Kai draws on my hardwood floors or smears his fish dinner into my hair. I wondered if I would enjoy it. This one worried me most. I lived such a solitary, autonomous life for so long that I was afraid that I wouldn't like motherhood, or even worse, I wouldn't be good at it. And what I will say is, there are some days that I absolutely hate being a mom. I hate it when I'm home alone with Kai for so many days and weeks that diaper changes blend with diaper changes, and after a while, I realize I'm talking to the diapers. I hate it when my friends are inviting me on an exotic, all expenses paid once in a lifetime vacation, and I'm so afraid of leaving my baby that I won't even consider it. I hate it when I'm trying to work, but all I can hear is my baby giggling with grandma, and I feel a pang of mother guilt and longing so strong that I stop whatever I'm doing to go play peekaboo for 5 minutes throughout the day. I hate the sexist societal pressure put on mothers to be perfect and wholly identified singularly as a mother, so much so that we feel the need to rip our former identities off us only to learn how to patch them back on. I hate that now I have to choose between me and someone I love just as much, maybe more. That gets complicated. But I also love that he's there to choose, that he exists, and I have the opportunity to get sick of changing his diaper. That's a privilege. I love that I care about him so much that leaving him scares me, and that I both miss him and am proud of him every time he grows out of a pair of pants or when he walks all by himself, because he's slowly and so quickly growing away from me. I know I'm in a very specific, very early phase of motherhood too, one where my baby is very dependent on me. So I'm sure my answers and examples will be very different in a few months. But when I get down to the core of why I wanted to be a mother, it was to experience a new kind of love, to be changed by the vulnerability and bravery it takes to love as a mother, to enter a classroom of mirrors only to be shown exactly who you are and be determined enough to look, really look, and change and accept and love what you see. And this could only be done with the kind of love that could truly break you and so form you too. And I knew that motherhood for me would gift me an opportunity to learn to love like that. What is it like to be an older mother? I'm not sure, but maybe because I've had decades to decide if I wanted to be a mother at all, and knowing I may very well not have been able to, I went into it consciously and deliberately with great intention. And despite all the challenges that motherhood has brought, I love it deeply. And this love for Kai has broken me and formed me in some ways, but more so, it's cracked me open so that my truest, most honest core, the person I've always been and always wanted to be, the child in me, had the room to grow and flourish. For that, I will always feel grateful to Kai for giving me the opportunity to be his mother. Thank you, truest child. I hope you got something helpful out of this. If anything, know that you're not alone. You see, we all struggle. We all mourn, yearn, question, laugh, and cry. No matter our age, background, or titles, at our core, we're all not so different, you and I. In case you missed it in the last episode, check out our next month's question on our homepage. If you feel inspired to respond to this asker and are interested in being a guest of this episode, or if you have a short word of wisdom for them, write to us on the contact page on youandipodcast.com or DM us on Instagram at youandi.podcast. And of course, as always, please submit your questions there too. They're completely anonymous. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to our channel, which helps others who might be interested find us. And feel free to share this episode with someone who may find it helpful as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jackie Kai Ellis, and this is You and I. This podcast was produced and edited by More Good Media.